What's up, Iceland? I'm excited to be here. So cool. This is actually my second time to Iceland. I was here about 5 years ago. Extremely happy to be here. And I've been in the crypto space for about little over a year. Excited to see some ladies in the crowd. So by all means, I'm not sort of the spokesperson as far as inclusion in the blockchain community. I'm going to share my personal opinion and my personal journey. And I want to make this more discussion than anything else. So essentially, I'll tell you a bit about myself. So I'm the founder of That Crypto Hustle. Happened actually by complete serendipity. So I've been actually in the tech industry for a really long time, 10 plus years. It all started after I went to a program in NYU called ITP, Interactive Telecommunications Program, which was actually an amazing program because it was sort of, if you will, bringing tech, artistic, like people from all different backgrounds, and teaching them basic, remember action scripting and Flash? So talking a long time ago, I'm totally aging myself. But in any case, so what I really loved about the program is that it really had an inclusive aspect in the sense that it wasn't just bringing developers in, but people from different backgrounds to really help push innovation, right? And this is why I'm really excited about blockchain, because I feel like there's opportunity to do the following as well. So this is kind of my journey. It started with, what the fuck is Bitcoin? So essentially, I was at a conference, an Amazon e-commerce conference, because as a digital marketer, I've been mainly in the e-commerce space, so helping different companies, mainly fashion, with acquisition, so essentially like helping them get more customers. And to be honest, I was getting a little sick and tired of fashion just because you don't work with really big budgets, and it's, overall, it's an industry that's just not able to really catch up with time, if you will. So I was at this conference with a bunch of guy friends of mine who were having a very passionate discussion about their Bitcoin. And this was, I would want to say May 2017, so before sort of everything started to happen as far as the big bullish, if you will, started to happen. So essentially, after that, I went home and I was like, wow, these guys were really passionate about their Bitcoin. What's going on? So obviously I went home, did some research, and my first instinct was like, I should sell these guys t-shirts. Oh my God. So I went home, started a Shopify store, did really well, obviously. Back then I could advertise, so did really well with Google Trends, totally capitalized on that. And then I was like, well, I guess next step would be to do a podcast so I can learn a little bit more about this world. So again, complete serendipity. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I entered, if you will, the rabbit hole of blockchain. So I started interviewing some folks in the space and realized, holy shit, this is Web 3.0, this is big. And the reason I was able to identify this was because I had been in the tech industry, so I could smell innovation, and I was really excited about what's to come. So essentially what happened is that I decided to sort of grow a community from there, because I did this out of Barcelona. I didn't know a lot of people who were into crypto like myself. Actually didn't know any women who were into crypto. And most of my friends, including my parents, thought I had joined the Russian mafia. So in any case, so then actually I went to New York City. Kind of have an apartment in New York City. And so I met actually a lot of women in the space. And I was hearing from them sort of complaining about the fact that there's not a lot of women in the space. So apparently there's only 6%. This is, I think, a statistic that I found the other day. But there's only about 6% of women currently in the space. And I can tell you, it can be pretty intimidating at times. I went a couple weeks ago to a TechCrunch conference. And there were maybe 20 women. And I think the venue had about 800 plus men. So yeah, a little weird, a little intimidating. In any case, so as I spoke to these women, I sort of learned the fact that, well, they're really supportive and really sort of pushing to have more women in the space. But how can you do that? Well, obviously, I'm not trying to fix this in just one day because it's a really complex discussion. But essentially, what I want to do is kind of talk about some of the things that I've learned along the way. So the first thing is education, which is really important. And also the fact that a lot of women, I've noticed, because they speak to me, they have a lot more knowledge, but they are somewhat shy about sharing it with others. I've been in a lot of sort of women-led Facebook groups where I'll hear sort of a lot of heated discussions about whether it's investment or different opinions that they have, and they're just, I guess, more shy in some cases to share it with others. So education, and also for them to understand sort of the ecosystem that is blockchain and how they can integrate themselves. Then the second thing is being an inclusive leader. So what does that mean? And I can tell you actually from first-hand experience, because my background was actually as a project manager in corporate right after I graduated from ITP. I got my master's. And essentially, like what I've noticed in the industry, especially with now Agile and some of the other sort of project management systems that are out there, there's really sort of a push for people with that background to also have dev in their curriculum, which I think is complete BS, to be honest, because to be a good project manager, you don't necessarily need to have a tech background. I mean, yes, you need to understand tech, but you don't need to be a developer to understand tech. So, you know, if you currently have a blockchain startup company and you're not hiring someone because they're not a dev, well, I think you should rethink that, most importantly, just because it's all about sort of being a mediator and really understanding the problems and being able to provide solution. And I hate to say this, but a lot of devs, in a lot of cases, are not able to necessarily do that. So really try to be inclusive and look at somebody's background overall and see how you can essentially include them in your team. Another thing I would really encourage is making sure that the people within your teams can be authentic and encouraging them as well to speak up. So you need to make sure that you're creating an environment where everyone can sort of share their opinion, because everyone has an opinion. Even the janitor could have like the best idea in the world. So make sure that you are listening to everyone who's coming up with ideas. And then the other thing is sponsoring women, minorities, making sure that you include them in your talks and making them that you include them as part of the entire conversation. Actually, I want to thank Chris for having me come today. Super excited to be here and be able to share this. All right, so some organization that you might want to check out if you want to include women, whether in your dev or as part of your organization or in your different talks, if you're organizing any conferences, whatnot, or other women who are here and interested in essentially learning about or different communities. So a community that I'm really active in is actually Crypto Queens on Facebook. It's a community of about 3,000 plus women who are actually all sort of lead players in the crypto community, so different speakers. It's international. So they also have a Telegram group. Also Love Coin, which is a community where there's not just women, but also men. They're really sort of pushing, if you will, anything that's, how should I call it? Yeah, I mean, essentially just like helping as far as like education and also sharing different job boards as well. Girls Who Code is an organization that's helping women sort of become developers. Women in Blockchain is an international meetup, actually, who has a pretty huge base of 20K plus ladies around the world, and they have meetups all around the world. I don't think they have one in Reykjavik, I'm not sure. And then Diversity in Blockchain is another one, and finally, Blockchain for Social Impact. And then as well, I wanted to share a list of 200 plus thought leaders. So these are women in the crypto space. Your next event, you can easily Google the following, but in your next event, if you want to have and make sure that you have women representing as well, you can go through this list. There's some pretty kick-ass women in it. All right, so I mean, essentially, kind of wanted to share my journey. Oops, before I play this. So yeah, it's been a really wild ride. I mean, in under a year, I've been able to sort of grow a community of 1,000 plus individuals around the world, and mainly through the podcast and really learning about the different possibility. What's also been really amazing is the fact that essentially I've been able to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I've just been able really to demystify the world of crypto and blockchain, because essentially it's really aversive to a lot of women because they don't understand the possibilities. And so being able to sort of really explain all the possibilities beyond just trading, because a lot of people, and I think this is partially because of the press, there's just such a push as far as like trading that people don't understand sort of this blockchain world and how it's going to revolutionize the world. So that Crypto Hustle, it's becoming sort of a podcast / community. I also sell merchandising, and what I want to share with you guys actually is the cool crypto cruise that we did post Affiliate World. Affiliate World is it's a big conference in Barcelona that brings digital marketers from all around the world, and we decided to do a fun crypto cruise. And yeah, I'll probably do one again next year, so I'll share that with you guys. So I invite you to come next year. All right, well, thank you guys.